It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this amazing galactic event with Bashar. Looks like it will be an extraordinary weekend because tonight and for the entire weekend, Bashar is going to be sharing with us information about what he has entitled the Interstellar Enneagram. And this is really something unusual. It's not the typical Enneagram that you've heard about on Earth. This is, of course, Bashar's perspective on this. And this will be sharing with us an exploration of our relationship with various extraterrestrial groups that are in our neighborhood, and sharing more information than perhaps we've ever heard before. As you know, he always shares with us surprising new information, new perspectives, and really the history that you're going to hear this weekend is not what's in your history books. Not yet, anyway. So maybe one day it will be, but certainly for those of us that are exploring this direction in our lives of extraterrestrial contact and understanding our place in the galactic realm, this is going to be something that's very enlightening for us and give us a deeper understanding of who we are in relation to this big picture. So we're really looking forward to this experience. And I know all of you have the download that Bashar gave to Darryl of the picture. And as you can see, just looking at it, you know that there's new things here that we haven't heard before. Now, tonight's session, Bashar is going to talk about the Anunnaki and the Greys and the Orion, their interstellar enneagram. And then tomorrow night, he's going to share with us about the interstellar enneagram of the Essassani and the Shalaniya civilizations. And then finally, on Sunday, we will be exploring the Sirius, Pleiadian, and Arcturus civilization enneagrams. So it sounds like it's going to be something very interesting and unusual, and I, for one, can't wait to hear what this is all about. We're going to show you a video now of an upcoming event, and we'll be doing a dolphin workshop, cetacean celebration. And we'll show you a little bit of a video clip about that and what it's like to swim with the dolphins and be free in an Essassani bubble in the island of Hawaii.
We're calling the cetacean nation. We're calling to our friends in the sea to join the celebration, elation of reuniting our family. We've separated for a long, long while, but now's the time to change the tide. We're here to say that we'll make
of the atmosphere, and they of the ocean world are simply sentient life living in different seas that intersperse and intersect and interact and merge and mesh and blend. Air into water, water into air. All the dolphins and all the whales, they sing a song of welcome, joy and welcome to the cetacean nation.
We're calling the cetacean nation. We're calling to our friends in the sea to join the celebration elation of reuniting our family. We're calling the cetacean nation. We're calling to our friends in the sea. With appreciation, admiration, creation of a new way to be.
You know, one of the things that Bashar has explained is that learning how to do interspecies communication is really a great precursor for interacting with extraterrestrials. And it's really like almost like part of the mental and psychological training that you can avail yourselves of to really learn how to communicate with something that is quite different from you. Of course, the ETs that we interact with are humanoid, so at least most of them that we'll have contact with, I guess, here on Earth initially. So it should even be easier for us to communicate with them than it will be learning how to communicate with dolphins and whales. But all I can tell you about the experience is that you truly will become part of their reality bubble, and plus part of the Essassani reality bubble while you're there, and it truly is an experience of ecstasy and joy. So we hope you can join us in October. Okay, so it is my great pleasure to bring to the stage the most amazing channel in the world, Darryl Anka. So I would just like to say, please join me in thanking Darryl and Bashar for bringing through this amazing information and sharing with us this new perspective on our interdimensional and extraterrestrial relationships from now until the past and then into the future. Thank you, Darryl and Bashar.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I'm just going to go right into it. So please have a good time, and I'll see you later. Maybe. Or it'll say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right? Thank you. Once again, we thank you for the co-creation of this interaction, the allowance of this transmission. This day of your time, we have entitled this transmission the Interstellar Enneagram. Enneagram generally being a word in your language that represents the number 9. But this is not arranged exactly in the way that many of you are familiar with the enneagrams that you use on your planet. This is really just a matrix of 9 squares in a square, 3 rows of 3. And they are, each box, representative of what we have talked about before, generally speaking, a permission slip, visual representation of different frequencies of energy that are representative of different civilizations. In essence, you could say, like a phone number for that particular dimensional realm, that particular civilization. A frequency that if you focus on it, meditate on it, look at it, get in alignment with that visual that is representative of that energy stream, that domain of consciousness, will aid and assist you in connecting more readily as a permission slip to that particular frequency of reality and make it a little bit easier for you to connect and align with and receive information from the representative domains that exist within this particular 9-box matrix or enneagram. Now, as you can see, there are 9 colored boxes in the center of this diagram, generally representing on the bottom row the idea of the ancient Orion systems, the Anunnaki energy, the Grey Federation, and in the middle row, left to right, the idea of our civilization of Essassani, or in our upgraded state, Essassani. The middle box is representative of you, Earth. The idea on the right-hand side will be the representational symbol for the Yael, or in our ancient language, the Shalanaya. On the top row, you will see the representation of the diagram, the symbol for the vibration of the Sirius star system. In the center, the Arcturus vibration. And on the right, the Pleiadian systems. Now, you will also notice that there are some open boxes around the edges that contain different words. Now, for those of you who may be joining us in zero gravity with no particular orientation, the word hypersapien should be at the top, just in case you were wondering. We will get to describing exactly what those mean in another part of this transmission, but for now, again, the labeling of the box, the open box at the bottom, underneath the matrix of 9 says proto-sapien. At the top it says hypersapien. To the left it says reptilian. And to the right it is the new hybrids. Now that you have this basic diagram, this basic enneagram, we will now take you through a little bit of the vibrational history and relationship of each, one at a time on the bottom row, to your world and how you share their vibration, how you share their history, what is relevant for you to understand at this time. Tomorrow of your time in that transmission, we will deal with the middle row. And on your Sunday transmission, we will deal with the top row. And also the open boxes that surround them, to give you a more complete picture of the vibrational relationships that you have ongoing on a variety of levels with these civilizations and dimensions of consciousness. So, let us begin. We will actually, on the bottom row, begin in the center with the symbol for the Anunnaki, which is represented by a winged circle that contains the colors of gold and red and blue against a black backdrop. Now, you will notice, of course, first of all, that the wings are not contained within the box. We wanted to represent the entire symbol to you. And so, because the diagrams for Orion and the Grey Federation to the left and the right were relatively simple 3-bar symbols, we simply allowed the wings to overlap each, understanding that this is an overlap. The wings are not part of the left and right diagrams. They simply rest on top for convenience of visualization. Now, the idea of the Anunnaki symbol, representative of this golden flying disc, that has at its heart a red dot which represents the life within, and around the gold disc the idea of a blue energy field. This is actually to some degree representative of the ancient ships that used to visit your planet from the Anunnaki, and is representative of the symbols that you still see in many of the cultures on your planet, the flying disc. Represented in many different ways, of course. Not a literal representation of their ships, but close enough in the sense that the ships were basically disc-like in the center and did possess a certain type of wings and steering mechanisms as they glided through your atmosphere, even though they didn't necessarily require them. In space, they were capable of retracting and folding in a way that allowed the ships to be more streamlined when these appendages were unnecessary in the vacuum of space. But once they entered your atmosphere, they did look like flying discs in a variety of ways. So they could steer through your atmosphere and use the gravitational fields by extending these wings to guide them and land them safely upon your planet. As many of you already understand, the Anunnaki are the extraterrestrial civilization generally responsible for the alteration of your genetic structure from what you would call the natural hominid that existed on your planet called Homo erectus to the idea of now what you call yourselves to be Homo sapien. In altering the genetic structure by including some of the Anunnaki DNA, they allowed you to create or exist in its present form, the human being, as you call yourselves, so that they would have a relationship to the Anunnaki, to be utilized in a variety of ways in that relationship, as workers, as companions, in a variety of ways, for their purposes of visiting your world, which fundamentally was to aid and assist them in mining minerals, gold in particular, that would allow them to alter the weather patterns of their own planet and make adjustments in that way to their energy fields. Now, the group of Anunnaki that actually visited your world, that was originally consigned to find those minerals and bring them back to the home world, were actually, to begin with, assigned to simply do this task themselves. Eventually, they found that this was something that was relatively difficult for them to do on their own, and so they believed they needed what you would call a workforce in order to aid and assist them. And knowing that there was a natural indigenous being upon the planet that was similar in form to them, they understood that they could genetically alter it to aid and assist them in this way by upgrading it, so to speak, to something more similar to their own form, and thus, by creating that force, allow that force to work in the mines to extract the gold and other minerals that they require, eventually also developing a long-term relationship with them in a variety of ways, even to the point of companionship many, many years after that. Now, this began somewhere around 500,000 of your years ago in the general areas that you call the Middle East and the African continent. And those branches of the hominid species that were not altered genetically by the Anunnaki evolved on their own in parallel to the human beings on your planet that the Anunnaki had created. And those that were not altered eventually evolved into the form you now call Sasquatch. So the idea is that if you had not been altered at all, today you would all be Sasquatch. But because you were altered, because you were evolved in that way, you became human beings. This also allowed for certain kinds of incarnational experiences to happen that would be very different than the incarnational experiences of Sasquatch, or Yeti, or Bigfoot, or whatever you wish to call that branch of your cousins. Now, they evolved in a very natural way, which allowed them to have a much closer connection in many ways to the idea of nature, and allowed them to develop abilities and skills that you do contain, but in a sense have forgotten that you have because of the alteration. Their abilities and skills as Sasquatch allow them to actually enter interdimensional states, passing from parallel reality to parallel reality, different dimensions to different dimensions, which is why they are so difficult to find on your planet when they don't want to be found. Nevertheless, getting back to your story, the branch that you became, eventually there were also interminglings between some of the humans of the time and the Anunnaki on the world, and these created births, natural births of beings that you have in your legends come to call the so-called demigods and so forth. Now, the Anunnaki were much taller in general than you are, and some of the earlier races on your planet of humanity were also much taller than most of you, although you are regaining not only your height again, but also your longevity, because in times past, a lot of the genes were passed along to the human beings that were genetically created that allowed them to live for hundreds of years, because the Anunnaki lived for thousands of years. The idea is that you are regaining this ability again. The genetic material is being opened up again because of new vibrations that are now existing in this present day on your planet, allowing you more longevity, allowing you greater height, greater health, greater vitality. And you are opening up those connections energetically to the Anunnaki and those genetic materials that you contain. Now, of course, the Anunnaki themselves also contained a mixture of different genetics from different races. We will not get into that so much right now, although you can certainly understand, we will give you a little bit of a sneak preview, that one of these was what is called on that diagram the Proto-Sapiens. We will get into them another time. But you could say that in general, the Proto-Sapiens are the precursors of all the human forms in your galaxy. Now, the Anunnaki, the branch that was on your planet and creating the idea of the Homo sapien groupings, were actually just a branch. And in their original assignment, were not really supposed to tinker with the genetics of the planet. When the main council of Anunnaki discovered that they had done so and created a new intelligent race of beings, well, let's just say they weren't very happy about it. They actually recalled that Anunnaki contingent from the Earth and in many ways left you to your own devices, allowing you to grow on your own, to evolve on your own with some degree of guidance from them, because they felt responsible in allowing that contingent of Anunnaki to create you. They felt responsible to guide you to some degree, although it was not the original plan. And so again, the stories of visitations over time, again from the idea of angels and gods from the sky, leading and guiding and teaching in a variety of ways to allow you to grow into your own civilization and allow you to take over some of the cities that had been created and become the actual kings of old, although the Anunnaki bloodline still coursed strongly in their veins. You see this in the representation of the ancient 10 kings of Atlantis, in Lemurian times, and even into relative modern times, as you still remember Egypt as having kings, and then eventually the idea of pharaohs. But all this goes back to the concept of the blue bloods, the royal lines, and everything that created the concept of royalty on your planet, because it is traced all the way back to the idea of the Anunnaki, who actually were slightly bluishly tinged. So the blue blood line was looked upon as the purest line in that way, although of course you all contain Anunnaki genetics. But there might be here and there some that are more directly related in direct lineages to some of those ancient genes. Now, once that began to happen, and you had on your planet contingents of humans who were creating their own civilizations, mostly guiding themselves with a little bit of input here and there from extraterrestrial beings and extra-dimensional beings, teaching them how to open up their consciousness to tap into source, to draw down and download information from a variety of sources. Then eventually humanity was pretty much left on its own in that way to evolve to a certain point to see if they would arrive at a point where they could then reconnect with the idea of extraterrestrial beings, extra-dimensional beings, which would show that they evolved to a point where the next stage of evolution could occur. We will leave that story for the moment and shift over to the idea of the ancient Orion systems and how they come into play in your reality. This story begins also long ago, in fact, actually millions of your years ago, in the ancient systems of Orion. There was, in that system, a society under great suppression, great oppression, great negativity, great hardship, great difficulty. In particular, on one of the worlds of the Orion systems that in the ancient language was called Huva. Huva, in that sense, was the central seat of the Orion government, which again was very oppressive. You can see the representation of the idea, the symbol of the vibration, of transformation that over time took place in the Orion systems by looking at the 3-bar banner on the lower left that is represented at the bottom by a black bar, in the middle by a red bar, and at the top by a white bar, showing that the transformation from negative to positive has occurred in the Orion systems, but it occurred through the middle bar of red, through the experiences of life, through the pain and difficulty and suffering of the beings in that time, through the blood of the people. Now, this story of the Orion systems took a long time to work itself through. There were resistances, what you would call underground movements, in the Orion systems, fighting against the suppression, fighting against the oppression, fighting against the negativity. The translation of those resistance fighters in your language would be the Black League. The Black League took their name as the idea of being invisible, being in the dark, being hidden, being surreptitious, so they could fight the fight they believed they had to fight against the oppressive governments of the ancient Orion systems. However, one of the very great lessons they learned in that time was the idea that if you fight fire with fire, you just get more fire. And the idea of using the same violent tactics against the government that the government was using against them did not really work out very well for that resistance movement, and it created an increase in the suppression and an increase in the negativity, and thus they learned that there must be another way. And in learning that there must be another way, they began to approach the idea of the negativity with positive energy, positive vibrations, and over time slowly transformed the Orion systems from darkness into light, from negative into positive, through their sacrifice, through their pain, through their blood. But the idea is that many of the ancient Orions also made a connection to the idea of wanting to work this out on many different levels interdimensionally, and so created for themselves incarnational connections to other star systems that had the vibrational energy that would allow them to go through a process of transmuting this negative energy into positive energy. One of those systems was your solar system. Now, this again was millions of years ago. But some of the first incarnations of ancient Orion energy occurred on a planet that is now what you call your asteroid belt. It no longer exists as a planet. And it was known by many names, but we will choose the idea of Maldek to represent it. Many incarnations were played out there. Much of the ancient Orion negativity was played out there, and eventually the vibration of that negativity was too much to handle and created circumstances and situations that ultimately destroyed the planet through collisions with other planetary bodies in the system when it was young. The incarnations then moved to the next habitable planet, which you now call Mars. At the time it was inhabited. Again, the ancient Orion systems worked themselves out to some degree, but there was still a lot of negativity to be worked out, as this process took eons and eons to go through. When Mars also attracted to itself the idea of a negative experience of destruction through the bombardment of asteroids that ripped away its atmosphere and turned it into the relatively desolate planet that you now understand Mars to be, then the incarnation shifted about 6,000 of your years ago to the Earth plane. Now, this does not mean that the destruction that took place on Mars happened 6,000 years ago. There was a lot of interim time in which, in other dimensions, the Orion energy was playing itself out and going through different processes until it was ready to come into the Earth vibration. The idea of the introduction of the ancient Orion energies and that process of going from the negative to the positive began to play itself out upon its arrival in the area on your planet you call the Middle East. And in this way, it introduced a lot of that ancient negative energy that has still to play itself out on your planet, although it is transforming in this day and age. But as you can see by the banner of the Orion ancient systems, of the red and the black and the white. You will see this throughout your history in oppressive societies, especially what you would call the Nazis. In that was their colors as well. So you will recognize that this ancient negative Orion energy is playing itself out in a variety of ways through many of the things that are going on now on your planet with respect to terrorism, with respect to warfare, with respect to all these kinds of energies that are now getting themselves out on the table, out in front of all your faces, so you can finally decide if you are truly done with this process and transmute all this negativity in a positive way into light, without the idea of having to go through the suffering, the strife, the struggle, and the pain, and the shedding of the blood that is represented by the red band in this system. You have arrived now at this point, and in recent times, where the vibrational energy allowed you to be ripe, shall we say, to interconnect with what we are loosely calling the Gray Federation, which is represented by the banner on the lower right, in the three stripes of black, gray, and white. Now, as we have told the story, in general, the gray beings are a number of different things. They are an amalgamation, a federation of a number of different things. They're not really all lumped into one thing, although there are connections, which is why we are utilizing the term federation, to represent the connections between the different factions of beings that you might recognize in general as grays, and all the different varieties in which they come. However, do understand that, as we have already laid out for you, the grays are not really alien beings. Most of them, the ones that you are dealing with on your planet, are a race of mutated humans from a parallel Earth that destroyed itself. Once they had created a very high level of technology on that parallel version of Earth, much, much higher, much far beyond where your technology is now. But because they were so focused on the idea of technology and intellectuality, eventually they sacrificed the concepts of emotionality and looked upon this as an inferior state of being. They began to become very disconnected from nature, began to focus on these ideas in a variety of ways that allowed them to let their planet, in a sense, go to seed. They no longer really took care of the nature. They allowed themselves to strip mine, allowed themselves to deforest, allowed themselves to change the climate in such a way, all in the name of their technology, so that they ultimately looked up and realized that their planet was fast becoming uninhabitable to such a degree that even their technology could now no longer really do anything about it. And at this point, they had also taken themselves so far, altered themselves in such drastic ways in terms of their genetics, their technology, their biology, that they really were almost part human and part machine, and thus could no longer relate to the idea of nature in a variety of ways, but realized that what they had done was going to create a situation where their race would completely eventually die out. They no longer had the ability to reproduce. And so they realized that in order to perpetuate their species, they began experimenting with a number of things. First, because their environment was becoming less and less and less habitable, they moved themselves into underground cities. And in those underground cities, they experimented with their genetics and began to clone themselves over and over and over again, eventually, of course, realizing that this was a dead end. They, even with their technology, could not replicate the original human DNA. They knew they needed viable, vibrant, natural, original human DNA to introduce it back into their genetic structure if they were going to have any chance at all of perpetuating their culture. And so they realized that the only way to extract that would be to use their technology to tunnel into parallel realities where they knew humans must still exist, such as yours, and find the DNA that they require to create a hybrid race, one civilization of which we are, to allow their culture to perpetuate itself. So this they did, and created many different hybrid civilizations, which we will get into again tomorrow of your time. Nevertheless, in expanding into parallel realities as these mutated humans you now call the Greys, they eventually created a variety of different versions of themselves and also encountered in those parallel realities different varieties and different versions of themselves, including one that was actually native to the star system you recognize as Zeta Reticuli. By making, in a sense, a relationship with the beings there, they created something, they formed a relationship and an agreement with something that they desperately needed, which was a different kind of guidance, on a different kind of level, beyond just intellectuality, on a level that could see into different dimensions, could really help them plan out the idea of how to create these hybrid civilizations, who could oversee such a vast project that would take eons of time to manifest. Once they encountered these beings in the Zeta Reticuli system, they formed and developed a relationship with them to allow them to become the overseers of all of this plan, all of this agenda. And in allowing those overseers to participate in that hybridization agenda that would perpetuate their species, in some ways, they actually started deferring to them and allowed them to really become the primary organizers of their civilization. These overseers are what many of you in the abduction phenomenology have come to recognize as the insect-like mantis beings that are very tall. They became part, in that sense, of the Grey Federation as the overseers. Now, upon recognizing that many of the parallel reality versions of Earth that the Greys had tunneled into were also going down similar vibrational paths to the path they had taken that destroyed their world and prevented them from being able to reproduce, prevented them from having emotionality, they recognized that by creating these hybrid beings such as ourselves, they could also give back a gift to those parallel worlds by allowing these hybrid beings to stave off the same fate, the same experience that many of the parallel versions of Earth were also going down, so that they would not have to experience the same degree of limitation that the Greys experienced on their world. And so this is one of the reasons why we are sharing information with you this day of your time, and for the past 30 years, and in a variety of ways, to allow you to understand that you don't have to take the same negative path, that you can change your destiny, that you can awaken to your understanding of consciousness in such a way that you can create a reality for yourself that is quite different than the reality path that they took. Does all this make some sense to you? Yes. All right. This will be the history for now that we will share of the bottom row of the Enneagram. And as we, in the forthcoming transmissions this weekend of your time, include the other levels, we will also magnify and enhance what we have already said here as it relates to the idea of the Earth. Notice that in the center, the symbol, the vibrational telephone number, if you will, of your planet starts with a black square. Then there is a square within that that is tilted 45 degrees, that is blue. Then a square within that that is again straight, that is green, and then a square within that that is smaller, again tilted 45 degrees, that is white. This, of course, represents the space around your planet. The blue is the water, the green is the land, the white is the air, the atmosphere, and the clouds of your world. The square represents what you typically refer to as the four corners of your world, and it allows you the opportunity to connect to these other diagrams, these other symbols in the Enneagram in a way where you can draw upon their energy, draw upon their information in the way that serves you best, in the way that is representative of the transformations you're making in your life at this time. And again, by focusing on these vibrational symbols as telephone numbers and linking and connecting and aligning with the vibrations of their particular dimensions, you can take advantage of downloading information and energy to yourself that will aid and assist you in centering your being in such a way that you can use all of this, use all these frequencies, use all these dimensions, use all these genetic connections, use all these relationships to guide yourself unerringly, straight and true, like a compass needle, to your best destiny. We will continue with this Enneagram transmission and expand upon this history in tomorrow's transmission. But for now, in return for the gift you are giving us and allowing us to experience you at this time and share with you in a family way, I ask, in what way may we now be of service to you with your questions?
Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day.
Okay. As the ground crew that we are, it feels sometimes that we are, like you said, incarnated, connected with so many civilizations at the same time.
Yes.
It feels sometimes like through the day, we connect with people and events that we play, possibly similar events, and we get to choose.
Yes.
And it seems like we create like templates, maybe.
Yes.
And
You do. That's why we have discussed the idea of the template level reality between physical and non-physical reality, so that if you become lucid enough in your dream state to actually be aware of the template level and change the template level, then it allows you to become more lucid in the physical dream and actually change the physical reality from the template level. So you are working with templates all the time to create your physical reality experience. Yes.
And it's like as if we jump from one matrix to another matrix.
It's not as if, you do. As we have said, you are shifting billions of times per second through parallel realities in order to create your experience of physical time, space, change, movement, discovery, growth. Yes.
I think it gets kind of confusing sometimes.
If you say so.
Yes, but it's exciting, and thank you for bringing us this update.
It is our pleasure. And it is the timing now to begin to really introduce you and give you more familiarity with the genetics and the vibrational energies that you actually contain, so that you can draw upon them, utilize them, amplify and magnify them to your best destiny.
Yes, I think we're ready, because I think it's like we can go from making peace with the Anunnaki, dealing with Orion's issues, when we have
Yes.
conflict with families or work
Yes.
or all that, and then we can move on maybe to lighter states.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's
more
all about.
Friendly
Yes.
connections with people.
Yes. So go do that.
Thank you. Oh, one last question.
Yes.
Does it have a purpose that you hold your hands and?
The channel's hands find equilibrium based on the energy that is going through the body at this time to help balance it out, and also to act as a lens to direct the vibrational energy that comes through the channel that is representative of our frequency to all of you, so that you can match that frequency more easily if you wish.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day.
Did I make any agreements to work for the Grey Federation?
Yes.
Do I have any hybrid children?
Yes.
How many?
23.
Will I meet them?
Some, not all.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day.
I had an experience in June.
Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
I had an experience in June with the Greys, and
One moment. Thank you. Continue.
They mentioned that there was 2 operations,
Yes.
and I didn't ask what it was, and I just want to know what they were.
Vibrational alterations. Does that help you?
Okay.
No?
I don't really understand.
Then why did you say so?
Okay.
Don't be shy.
I'm a little shy.
Why? What are you shy about?
Speaking.
Speak up.
Yes. Okay.
You are shy to speak.
Yes.
Why? What are you afraid you will say?
No, just in general, in front of people, I guess, in a big group.
You're not in front of anybody but reflections of yourself.
Okay.
So speak up.
Okay.
Are you afraid to talk to yourself?
No.
Then talk up.
Okay. Also, they had mentioned, well, there was a lot of communication, which a
Yes.
lot was said, and some things they said that I wasn't ready to know, but
Yes.
that I was going to help them.
Yes.
I don't know how. I wanted to know.
The best way you can help the entire program is to act on your highest excitement to the best of your ability with zero assumption as to the outcome. Are you doing that in life? Yes or no?
Trying, yes.
That's a no.
Okay.
It's either a yes or it's a no. Trying is a no. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. So, what's holding you back from acting on your highest excitement in life? What reasons are you creating to hold yourself back from being who you are, who you prefer to be? Can you name one?
A little fear, I guess, of not knowing
Fear of not knowing what?
what awaits, what if I'm doing.
The only
The
thing
right
you will
thing.
ever discover in the unknown is more of yourself. You already said you're not afraid of yourself.
No, I'm not.
That's the only thing you will ever discover. More of yourself. Is there something else holding you back?
No.
Are you sure?
I mean, not that I'm aware of, no.
All right. What are you afraid will happen if you do move forward in the direction of your excitement to the best of your ability?
No, I'm looking forward to that, actually.
So you will start when? And you will start how? By doing what?
Well, when they said that I would help them, I figured they would show me, or because they said
They
would
will
come
show
again.
you when you start taking action on the things that excite you in life. Because you are not being the vibrational state that can be of best help yet, because you're not being of best help to yourself. And if you're not helping yourself be who you are, how can you possibly have the ability to help anyone else? Yes, makes sense?
Yes.
So when will you start being yourself and helping yourself so that you can help others?
Well, more so now, but I think...
Oh, more so. All right.
Because I do.
And so, is there some particular form that action will take of acting on your highest excitement? Is there something that you would rather be doing in your life that you're not doing? That you could take some action on? Come on.
I'm trying to think, no? Like,
You're trying to think.
of what?
I
I'm
didn't
saying
know thinking was so difficult for you.
Well, it's a little complicated.
No, it's not. You're complicating it. The only thing that's complicating it is your definitions, your beliefs about yourself in relation to the circumstances that appear in your life. Stop complicating the definitions within yourself about yourself, and things will start appearing relatively easy and relatively simple. All complications in that sense, all difficulties come from your definitions. There is no such thing as an inherently difficult circumstance. Only your perspective of it makes it seem difficult. Only your perspective makes it seem complicated. So that comes from your definitions. Find out what your definition is of that situation, of yourself in relation to that situation. And once you identify that definition, you will see that it makes no sense to keep holding on to it because it's not in alignment with who you prefer to be. And once you see that it makes no sense, you'll let it go. And then things will start simplifying. Does that make sense?
Yes, so there's not a certain thing that I have to do in order to
Of course there is. But you won't know what that is until you're being more of yourself. Remember, you can't perceive what you're not the vibration of first. You have to be the state of being that is equivalent to the thing you need to know before you're capable of knowing it. You can't know it before you are the state that is representative of it. Again, by analogy, that's like saying, well, you're looking at your reflection in a mirror and you're seeing the reflection frown, but you refuse to smile until the reflection smiles first. It'll never smile first, ever. You have to be the state of smiling first before the reflection can give that back to you. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, you have to start acting on the things that excite you, which is representative of being more of your true self, because that's what excitement is, the vibrational frequency of your true being. That's what that sensation is. Passion, excitement, love, creativity. That's your physical translation of the vibration of your true natural self. So the more you act on the things in life that contain that frequency more than any other, the more in alignment you are with the vibration of your true natural self, and the more your life will automatically unfold in the appropriate way, synchronistically, at the right place, the right time, bringing you exactly all the information, all the circumstances, all the people you need to interact with at the right place at the right time, and you will know what you need to know when you need to know it by being that vibration first. So get on about the business of really living your life as passionately, as fully as you possibly can, being your true self as fully as you can, and all the things the true self needs to know will come to you through the synchronicity in your life. That's how it works.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
Yes, it does.
It's a simple principle. It's just physics, nothing complicated. What you put out is what you get back.
Okay, so when they mentioned something about something being done like in my abdomen and my chest.
Yes.
That's
Vibrational adjustments were made to allow you to have more opportunity, to be okay, to be at ease with yourself, in order to allow you to give yourself permission to be more of who you are. They opened up your heart. They opened up your chakra of intention. You understand?
yes.
Does this help?
Yes.
Are you a little bit more excited than when you began?
A little more at ease, yes.
A little more at ease? All right. That's a good sign, yes?
Yes.
All right. So take a deep breath and let it out and relax. You don't have to try so hard. Just live your life to the best of your ability, as fully as you can. That's the only thing you actually have to do in life. That's it. Just be yourself as best you can. That's it. Not so complicated, is it?
No.
There you go.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Anything else?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of everything that had happened.
You're still trying to think? Or are
I'm
you
trying
thinking?
to remember. I'm thinking.
Oh, thank you.
I'm trying to remember.
You don't have to try to remember either. You will know what you need to know when you need to know it if you simply get into the appropriate state. Yes?
Meditating is because they told me to.
It's a permission slip that might work well for you.
Yeah.
You understand what permission slips are, yes?
No.
No?
No.
Permission slips are simply all techniques, all tools, all rituals, all objects are permission slips. They are simply whatever at any given moment your belief system believes it needs as a technique, as a tool, to allow you to give yourself permission to be more of who you are. If it's meditation one day, then it's meditation. If you're attracted to something else the next day, then it's something else. The changes don't come from the permission slips. The changes come from you. But if you have a belief that says you need that particular permission slip to allow you to give yourself permission to make the change, then by all means use it. So if someone is suggesting that meditation might be a good permission slip for you, you get to decide whether or not that's true. If you're attracted to it, do it. If you're attracted to something else, do that instead. And your permission slips can change from day to day, moment to moment. It just depends on what works for you at that given moment, because as you make changes within yourself, you become a different person. And as a different person, you might require a completely different permission slip. So just go with the flow. Whatever you're attracted to, whatever you believe works for you, use it. Whatever you believe does not work for you, don't use it. It's that simple. Take whatever works, leave the rest behind.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes.
Makes it sound easier, doesn't it?
Yes, they mentioned to get in touch with earth, vibrations, light,
Yes.
and
how
energy.
would you like to go about doing that? What would be the most exciting way in your imagination for you to go about doing that? Come on. What in your imagination, what do you picture for yourself would be the most exciting way to get in touch with those nature vibrations?
I would say that. Start with meditation, I guess.
You guess?
Well, I'm trying to figure it out. This is the first time I ever encountered
Stop
anything
trying
like
to
that.
figure it out. You're missing the point. If it contains more excitement than another option, that's the direction to go in. You always have a beacon. You always have a lighthouse to follow. The path is completely well lit. It's lit by whatever option at any given moment contains more excitement than any other option. Do you understand?
Yes.
That's how you know that that's where the compass needle is pointing, saying, go this way. This is your true direction. If you're contemplating, okay, meditation, that's an option. Walking on the beach, that's an option. Listening to a song, that's an option. Having lunch with a friend, that's an option. Talking to Bashar, that's an option. Well, here you are. Seems like you acted on that one. Choose the one that has more excitement, that you have the greater ability to act on than any other at that moment. Take it as far as you can with no insistence, no assumption, no expectation as to what the outcome of that action ought to be. And just keep doing that for every moment that something changes. Wherever the excitement goes, follow it. Because the excitement is telling you that those things are connected, not the way something looks, not the form the excitement comes in. The fact that the excitement is there is telling you that's the way to go. This is the next thing you need to experience. And it will expand and it will continue. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's the formula. There's the formula and the toolkit. The formula of excitement is you act on the thing that has the highest excitement every moment that you can. To the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further. With zero insistence or assumption as to what the outcome should be or what should come to fruition or how it should look. When you act on that formula, when you use that formula, it opens up excitement as a complete toolkit. That toolkit contains all the things you need to support you in acting on your excitement, whatever form they need to come in. It contains the driving engine that motivates you through life. It contains the organizing principle that synchronistically organizes everything into the correct order in which to do it. It contains the path of least resistance so that your actions become effortless, a joy to behold. It contains the connections to all other expressions of your excitement as you expand by following it, by acting on it. And it contains the reflective mirror that reveals to you anything within your consciousness that might be out of alignment with that excitement so that you can identify it and integrate it and bring it back into alignment, let go of the things that are out of alignment and expand your excitement in that way. That's how the complete kit works. When you simply act on the formula, the complete kit opens automatically. It unfolds automatically. It works effortlessly. You don't have to do a thing to make it work. It automatically works. This is how you use the machine. This is how you use the structure of existence. This is how the nature of existence operates. This is your owner's manual. This is your instruction manual. This is how it works. It's that simple. Make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Does this help you?
Yes.
Why, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I am interested in implementing your teachings in our current educational system
Yes.
here on
If
Earth.
you want to call it that.
Do you have a timing that's good for this,
Good for what?
for starting to really implementing your teachings in our education, in our schools and universities and...
The basic metaphysical principles that we talk about are not ours. We deliver them in a specific way, yes. But the idea is that this is a basic understanding of metaphysics, a basic understanding of how existence is structured and how it works. The timing for introducing the ideas that we're talking about into your educational system, now. Why wait?
Great, thanks.
The idea is to create more interactivity for the children so that they learn by actually doing, yes? Instead of just being talked at. To allow the lessons to be adapted to what excites each child instead of attempting to adapt their excitement into the lesson. Yes?
Yes.
Teaching them the consequences of their actions and the consequences of their choices in a safe, protected environment so that they can learn the basic tools of how to manifest reality in a way that allows them to become experts at it by the time they're adults. Yes?
Yes.
These are the tools and techniques of education. So, why wait?
Okay.
Teach them that they are self-empowered. Teach them that they are as powerful as they need to be already to manifest whatever it is that is truly relevant for them in their lives in a joyful, creative, loving way without having to hurt themselves or anyone else in order to get what they need. Teach them that they are that powerful. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
We once told a little story about a starship that visited planets. And when they visited a planet of people who had never met them before, the people on the planet said, "Tell us about your starship. How powerful is it?" The captain of the starship said, "Well, it is so powerful that it could actually destroy your planet in the blink of an eye." The person said, "Oh, that's very powerful." But the captain said, "No, that's not what makes us powerful, though. What makes us powerful is that it has that ability and we would never use it to do that. That's what makes us powerful." Make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you.
The greatest power requires the gentlest touch. Because if it is that great a power, why would it need to force itself on anything? The things that truly have power, people will gravitate to. If someone attempts to force an idea on someone, they're actually saying they don't believe in the power of that idea themselves. They're actually trying to convince themselves that it has power by attempting to force it on someone else. That which is truly powerful never needs to be forced. People will find it. Teach them that and see how your world changes. Yes?
Yes.
Does this help?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Anything else?
Yes, 5 years ago in 2009,
Yes.
I had an absolutely wonderful experience.
Yes.
Went out to on my balcony and I saw a huge white sphere
Oh, all right.
just outside my
Yes.
windows.
How exciting.
And then I had the experience of, in the blink of an eye, being on board this
Yes.
vessel,
Yes.
meeting
Yes.
what I think was you.
No.
No.
But something similar.
Okay. Because there were two of them.
Yes. Well, I'm not two of me.
No?
There are more of us, but again, not
Yeah.
me, but something similar.
Okay. Would you like to tell me something more about that?
You belong in that group.
Okay.
In a sense, what you were actually meeting was another version of yourself.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's wonderful.
Oh, all right.
That's great.
Thank you.
Can you be more specific of...
More specific than saying it's another version of you?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of versions of me.
There are,
Yes.
but not that look like that.
No. But in this case, what kind of people or where were they from?
It
or-
is a hybrid race,
Yes.
an offshoot of the Yael, those that will make first contact with your planet, first open contact.
Okay. Yes.
Does that help?
Yes, absolutely.
Why?
Well,
Why does that help?
I feel the connection even more. No, thank you.
Can you?
Maybe not. Maybe I just want to tell my story.
Why so doubtful? Why so easy to shift? From certainty to doubt. Why?
Well, sometimes it feels like a dream, and
But physical reality is a
sometime-
dream.
Yeah,
You remember that, yes?
I remember that. Yes, and I
So
feel
why
that
shouldn't it
more and
feel like
more.
a dream?
Yeah,
Yes?
it was really a dream,
And yet,
and it was wonderful.
and it is real.
Yeah,
The dream is simply your memory of it. Yes? Your
absolutely.
symbol of an actual encounter. Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right.
I agree.
Does this help you?
It does. Thank you.
Because what will you do with this vibrational energy now? How will you apply this knowledge, this state of being in your life? How will you take this experience and apply it in your reality?
I will remember it, and I will.
Oh, that's good for a start.
Yeah.
Then what? I'm going to sit in my big overstuffed chair and remember it for the rest of my life. What else will you do with it besides just remembering it?
I will follow the passion and
You'll act on your highest excitement from that state of being?
the highest excitement.
Yes. Does that sound good to you? Yes.
It does.
And you will now do this in your life?
Absolutely.
Is there something in particular you would like to apply this to? Something that you would like to do that you held yourself back from doing?
I'm leaning into education.
You are leaning into education. What does that mean? What does that mean?
It means that
You mean I'm excited about teaching? Or I'm excited about learning? Or what? What do you mean?
I'm excited about teaching. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm leaning into education. Well, that's clear as mud. I'm excited about teaching. Now that's clear as a statement, yes?
Yes.
And the clearer your statements, the clearer your path.
Absolutely.
All right, so you're excited about teaching. What, where, how?
I want to teach about higher knowledge.
Higher knowledge. Is there some knowledge that's higher than other knowledge? Is not knowledge just knowledge?
Yes.
So
If-
what do you
if
mean
it's-
when you say higher knowledge? Are you going to be teaching these confusing concepts to the people you're going to be teaching?
No, absolutely not.
Well, I'm your
No,
class right now. Teacher, what do you mean by higher knowledge? Isn't all knowledge equal?
Well, if it's true, and if it's...
Aren't all truths true from different perspectives, teacher?
Yes, that's true. Please sit down.
Is there some way I can transfer to another class? We are having fun with you.
Yes,
But
I know
the
this.
point we are making is know what you're talking about before you teach it.
Absolutely.
All right? And the best way to do that is to live it. Yes?
Yes.
So act on your excitement to the best of your ability and you will learn as you go because as a teacher, you are also a student. Yes?
Yes.
All right. And the students are also your teachers. Yes?
Absolutely.
All right. So as long as you see it in that holistic way, have fun with it. It's all right not to know something. You'll find it out. But be the best teacher you can be. And by being the best teacher you can be, you will be the best student you can be, and vice versa. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Does that
Thank
help?
you. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Bashar.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
Thank you for illuminating a great many things.
Thank you for allowing us to reflect back to you what you already know.
I'm aware that there are many things that I do not know or fully understand.
Well, there are many things that we don't know, but we don't know what they are.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you about. Do you and your people have other ways of exploring the things that you don't know, And if so, what are they? Or is it just the same excitement principle?
It is exactly the same excitement principle. As soon as we achieve a certain frequency, a certain level, then things we didn't know and things we didn't know suddenly come into being in our consciousness, and we recognize something that we didn't know before.
Thank you very much.
Would you like us to describe one of the things we are exploring now that we find quite fascinating?
That would be great.
As we have recently mentioned, we are now exploring beings in a reality that you might euphemistically describe as living in a universe that's inside out. We now can actually provide you with a little bit more of a description of these beings and this universe, if you wish. It's up to you.
Please.
Oh, all right. Some of this may not be completely translatable, but we will use whatever terms seem most representative to give you some kind of picture. See if you can wrap your minds around this. In your reality,